Hi, welcome you all to the reverse pitch event when investors get on stage for change. Over 174 people are here. It's amazing. Thank you all. Thank you all for being here. My name is Eliška, and I'm going to provide you with this 1 hour. So first of all, I would like to tell you more about the organizer in case you don't know, about DEPO Angels, which is an international syndicate of active business angels looking for exceptional early stage startups. This event platform makes startup investing easy and accessible. So DEPO Angels is also part of the comprehensive ecosystem that the DEPO Ventures investment group is building next to its 2 angel funds with 18 investments so far. And if you want to learn more, or if you are a startup and you want to apply, go to depoangels.com where you find more information and also a link to send you a pitch deck. Today, we are going to hear pitches from several investors, mainly from Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and Baltics region that are investing mostly in early stage startups. Each investor going to have an approximately 3-minute pitch, followed by questions from experienced founders, namely from Janosch Amstutz, founder of live stream AR platform called BEEM, who connects from Great Britain. Hi, Janosch, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, so I'm a founder that originally built the business in London. We create a form of telepresence, so we live stream humans into augmented reality and have a messaging platform for recorded messaging as well. I'm actually streaming in from Los Angeles. We've just opened an office here in the US, so it's early morning for me, hence my second coffee. It's great to be in this event. It's great to see all these founders. And it's also great to see a lot of Jans on the same call that I rarely see. So it's good to be amongst my kin. Thank you so much for having me. Looking forward to this pitch.
Amazing. Good morning too. So then we have Czech founder of travel mobile app SMARTGUIDE, Jan Dolezal. Hi, Jan. Are you excited already?
Hi, everyone. Yes, very excited. This is a unique opportunity. I have been pitching to many investors, but I never got pitched like this by an investor. So really looking forward to that. So I'm a founder of a travel tech company, SMARTGUIDE. We turn every phone into a personal tour guide and build the global platform for digital guides. So looking forward to hearing from all the investors.
And Tony Nitschke, founder of German startup Augmented Robotics. Hi, Tony, are you with us?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me here today. Super happy to be in the DEPO family. And yes, I'm looking forward for this event. It's going to be really, really cool. One sentence to us, we combine artificial intelligence with augmented reality and build really cool applications out of those both fields. And yes, I'm looking forward for the event. Thanks for having me here today.
Awesome. I'm already excited to hear your challenging questions. Ladies and gentlemen, the important thing for you, there will be voting at the end. So after all investors are done, we would like to know which one you like the most because it's more fun. So keep it in mind. Now take a look in Zoom chat where you find the link to the investors details sheet. Please, Barbara, share it again. So you stay oriented and do not hesitate to use this chat for networking and add your LinkedIn and ask questions. It's also for you for networking, right? Now, I would also like to mention that this event is being recorded. The video record will be available for all registered users and will be sent to your emails after the event. With all that said, let's begin. Let me introduce to you our first investor, Dominik Krawczyk from Cobin Angels from Poland. Hi, Dominik. You can start when you're ready.
Okay, so let me just share my presentation and I can start. First of all, it's a great pleasure to be in a place of pitching to you. My name is Dominik Krawczyk and I'm a CEO of Cobin Angels. We are the biggest business angel network club in Poland. So we are on the market since 2015. So on one hand, we are supporting startups to gain the investment, and on the other hand, we are supporting investors to invest in those startups. So our average investment ticket is 150K to 2 million euro. So it's mainly conducted as a co-investment. So we are co-investing with the VC funds, not only from Poland, but across the globe. I will tell you a little bit more about it later. So we are gathering about 50 plus investors. So those are the people who are experienced entrepreneurs, C-level managers, maybe some startup founders, the people who have experience and the network to support a startup, because that's the goal of the business angel investor. We actually conducted and closed more than 30 rounds, and we are focused on all sectors because our investors comes from very different sectors, so they can bring the value to the startups in many kind of sectors. So they mainly choose their startups because of their knowledge and investment focus. And of course, we are looking for the startups that are scalable and technology driven, so they are competitive and so on. So how we are operating? So we are like similar to the VC. However, we do not invest by our own, mainly, but we are supporting the investors in the whole process. So we are actively looking for the investments. We are analyzing them. We are assisting them in gathering the necessary materials and documents. Then we are showing only 3 startups from up to 100 in a month to our investors. And then if the startup is interesting for one or a couple of investors, we are going with the process and till the end of the investment. And also we are supporting startup then in preparing for another round or preparing some other documentation that we are good at in. On the other hand, we of course support investors with the knowledge, with some, we're helping them to find other VCs or other investors to co-invest, because as you probably know, angel investing is, they do not gather as much as big rounds as some of the VCs. So we are cooperating with a lot of VC funds across Europe, basically, to gather bigger rounds and to have the better startups. As I mentioned, we also are actively helping startups in preparing for the investment process, but also after the process. So we are helping them to prepare financial models, improve their pitch deck, or finding a second round. Actually, this year we found 2 more rounds, round A's for our startups that closed the rounds earlier in our fund. What you can gain from us is of course capital, but not only, as the angel investing is based on the skills of basically the value proposition, so the skills and the network of our angels. So it's a great opportunity for the startup, not only to gain capital, but also some added value to the investment. And actually, right now we see a lot of startups that already have committed a VC fund, but they're coming to us to gain some 1 or 2 or 3 investors more, not only for the capital, mainly because of the skills and the support that they can gain because of the knowledge of the angel investor. As I mentioned, we actually closed more than 30 rounds. These are the investments, some selected investments. The sales book is the startup that we actually helped them to receive another round A this year, and previously they received like 2 years ago rounds, seed round from our side. You can know, especially the people who are from US, Growbots. This is the startup who has already some couple of $1 million rounds already. This is the example of our one of the investments. We, as I mentioned, we not only conduct the investment in our grounds, so in Poland, but also we are cooperating with different funds across Europe and sometimes across the globe. Also to provide this added value for our startups. This is the startup.
Sorry, Dominik, to interrupt you. Do you have any like last comment?
From our side? Yeah.
Yes.
So this was the investment with the Draper University from US. This is our team, so we are diverse experience, and this is my context. Thank you.
Perfect. Great. Thank you very much. Founders, who would like to start with the first question?
I'm happy to get started. Thanks a lot for the presentation. I have a question. How do you charge your fees? Do you charge your investors, or do you charge the startup for finding the angels for them?
We are charging investors. I don't want to talk about the numbers, but for a startup, it's for free. We only charge when the investors, when the round is closed. So basically, the whole process is conducted for free. Only when we succeed, we get the remuneration.
Janosch, go ahead.
Amazing. Hi, I'm Jan, the founder of BEEM. Dominik, you're in a very unique position because you have a number of very highly skilled experts behind you as investors. As a early stage business, often in the seed cap space, one of the most important things for us founders is not just the capital, it's the access to resource. And what I found is often misunderstood or maybe misused is often that resource is not necessarily connections, because often a seed company may not be ready for market. What I found was most valuable for access to specifically kind of a large list of angels who are either entrepreneurs, ex-entrepreneurs, or C-suite is access to their minds, and specifically access to their support in strategy and execution and mentorship. How do you guys foster that within your network and ensure that the startups that you invest with receive that actively?
First of all, during the investment process, we are helping them to connect. So we are organizing the meetings so that they can know each other, because from our point of view, it's really important that the startup knows the investor and investor know the startups and what they, what they can offer, both of them, how the investor can help them. In general, we also help the investor to prepare themselves, what they can do for the startups, and also they all have a chance to share the knowledge between them before the investment, so that they know what they can look for after the investment. Of course, when the investor, when the round is closed, we cannot intervene with this relationship, but we are really focused in the investment stage so that they match together, and it's a good match in the end. So later on, we hopefully the cooperation will be beneficial for both sides.
Amazing, and I'll just follow on a little bit with my experience as well. Is we did receive seed investment from a number of kind of similar angel networks and VCs that had a kind of a bulk of interesting investors behind the fund. in the early stages of business, I'll be completely honest, relatively naive. You know, as a first-time founder, you learn while you're falling off the cliff how to fly. And for me, it was very valuable in the early stages to have specifically an angel network that was structured, that it was very clear what the relationship was and how it would work and what the expectations were from both sides. So in terms of, if I would do that again, looking for seed capital, I would be specifically very interested in how a structure would be put into place for that exchange of knowledge and information to be more than just an introduction, more than just a the first 3-4 weeks until that angel investors found another investment that is exciting for them.
We also are doing, we are selecting the investors before they are getting into our club. So it's not only a person with the money, but also a person who fits into the club. And we believe that he has good experience and he can add the value to the investment, not only capital.
Amazing. That's really valuable for a founder to know. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next investor is from Bulgaria, George Brashnarov, a partner at the CEO Angels Club. Hi, George. You can begin whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'm always ready, Nitschke. Thank you very much for inviting me and introducing me in this way. So I will start not with presenting the fund, which I founded 5 years ago, but more like my own story, because I'm still considering myself as an entrepreneur, acting entrepreneur, which is having fun to help other entrepreneurs, especially early stage entrepreneurs, to be successful ones. And of course, this includes time, knowledge, and money lately. So my story is very simple. I'm affected by doing quality software last 20-something years. So my journey consists of establishing professional software labs for a big US and German companies, doing management buyout, doing my own investments, my own startup, my own spin-off. Some of them failed, some of them still alive. So all this kind of entrepreneurial journey, which I'm still very much like it. And in 2011, just by chance, we were working as a company with a US, New York-based startup. One of our pillars is the construction industry. Is one of the really very conservative industries, which needs a digitalization a lot. So that's one of my personal interests also to look and to help. And I saw by myself being part of this process, how an quality angel and quality angel network can change the success of such kind of entities. We were struggling 4 or 5 years of presenting the product in the right way, to do the technical stuff, which is kind of easy for us, but all of the other things like marketing, like sales, like proper positioning, like proper storytelling, was really not the strength of this particular startup. And then clever, as I said, clever network of Rhode Island-based syndicate came in just in 10 months, repackaged the product, not with the new technology, but just with the new messages, with new positioning, with the references. And a year later, the whole setup was successfully acquired by the biggest player in this area, Autodesk. And this was 2011. Same time in Bulgaria, my born country, the first seed and venture capital funds start appearing. And by interest, but also with this virus in the blood, I start mentoring and I start scouting for startups which will be ready to receive the first investments for those early stage funds established with mainly with the European money. And that's gradually and naturally after mentoring and after helping technologically the startups, came to my mind that maybe it's also time to push my own money, to risk my own money inside this very interesting and very appealing story. And I'm a strong believer in the collaboration in the business, finding the right partners, but also into the investing. So from the early days, I was advocating establishing not just the super angels here and there, but trying to find like-minded people and do a syndication. Because syndication into the angel world is giving you a lot more opportunities inside the network, but also outside for the potential investees. And so in 2018, with 4 of my friends and colleagues, we founded CEO Angels Network in Bulgaria. It's the biggest network here. We have for the last 4 years, more than 80 members with about 2 million investments in 40 deals. So the average ticket is a really early stage. Average ticket is like a 50K, but it's becoming bigger and bigger, mainly because also is the right timing. You know, that's a lot of money now in Europe coming by different sources, but some of them are really public money. And those public money are always looking for a matching element with the private money. So again, as an entrepreneur, my own life, I truly believe into the own responsibility and putting your own money in those kind of investments. And we become, as a CEO Angels Club, fully consisted by the private entrepreneurs, acting entrepreneurs, the most preferable partner in many deals in which the early stage funds and the VC funds are doing the main as a lead investors, but they also need the private money matching. So the last year is really booming with those kind of scenarios. So that's the story from the investment. You also asked me what's my priorities to look for investments, and I'm kind of agnostic. Of course, my own interest, my own business knowledge is based on a couple of segments like construction industry, which I mentioned it, like 3D design, like virtual reality, and also some kind of business process automation based on documents or based on events. One of my biggest partner and really good business partners is Atlassian, the famous Australian company. So you can feel in which direction, because my technology background, I can be looking for investments. From the other end, I'm also very eager to learn something new, to have fun with the areas in which I have absolutely no clue what is happening. So as a result, my latest investment, which is quite significant, went to a local startup with the e-sharing mobility, so scooters, simply. And the last 2 years, we are really we are having a lot of fun, really beating the big names like Lime and like Bird here on the local market, and trying to scale in the different cities of Bulgaria and outside Bulgaria, which is completely different business of one that I know quite well.
Thank you, George.
I will stop here and hope to have really tough questions, guys.
I can jump in there if you like. George, thank you so much. Very, very impressive life that you have there. And I can totally relate to the public money. We raised nearly 1.5 million as a deep tech company that only needed a very small amount of private capital. So it's a really good way of kind of leveraging the private money that that the company receives. Here's my tough questions, not too tough. Without pointing fingers or saying names, what would you say was your biggest failed investment, and what did you learn out of this one?
I do not consider really a big failure, because from the failures I learned to learn a lot more than from the successes. So every failure is kind of another lesson you need to accept. But there was a time in which marketplaces was some kind of really sexy things to invest in. And I didn't saw any of those 3 or 4 marketplaces in which I invested because of the marketplaces and because of the potential they theoretically are giving to the investors something to happen. So nowadays, based on my own experience, when I see that someone is pitching about marketplace, I'm out immediately.
Jan, you have a question.
Hey, George, it seems that you have so much experience and also so much going on with your own companies and investments in many different fields. So how much time do you actually spend with each of your startups, and how specifically can you help them to transfer this experience?
Depends on the startup, and one of the tricks with the business angels is that I'm offering my help, but I'm not pushing to startup to receive it, because for me it's also important when investing to see the quality of the team, and I mean team, not single founder. For me, I prefer teams, well-balanced teams, before a strict one-man show founders. And again, if they have the really argument needs, and I know that I can help them, there is no problem to offer my time and my connections and ideas and so on and so on. But business angels, I think, needs to be a bit more passive, not really trying to run the company, because this is not our job. Otherwise, why we need the founders? We will do it by ourselves.
Thank you very much. Dear investors who are presenting today, look at the button panel and see Q&A icon. There are questions for you from attendees. So it would be great if you will answer those. Thank you. Awesome, thank you. The next presenter is Czech investor Pavel Prikryl from Fazole Ventures. Hi, Pavel, the stage is yours.
Hi, Eliška. Hi, everyone. It's great to be here. Thanks very much for the invitation. I'll try to start the presentation.
Yes, we can see it. We can hear you.
Is it visible? Okay, cool. So thanks. I'm representing Fazole Ventures, which seems like a name of a company or of a fund, but in fact, we are really 3 business angels joining forces under one umbrella called Fazole Ventures. And we are actually not a network, we are an actual investor in this sense. We are relatively new on the market. We are like 2-3 years old. Currently, we have 5 companies in the portfolio. And so far, we invested roughly 2 million euros, which is not actually the amount or the sum of the all investment into our companies, because we are usually joining forces with others. Since, as I said, I consider ourselves really angels, it's quite important to say who we are. So this is 3 of us, founders and owners of the vehicle. Pavel Bouška is one of the most successful entrepreneurs in Czech Republic. He's running a really international pet food company exporting to like 60 countries around the world. And he's owning several other companies. Luboš has a managerial, or let's say C-level executive background, mostly from banking, but airline industries and so on.
Sorry, Pavel, your presentation is not going on like those slides. We still see the first slide.
Okay, I see it on my computer. That's interesting.
Yeah, it looks like it's freeze.
Like how, like this?
Yeah, partners slide.
Oh, so I will keep it. Without the presenting mode. If it's visible. Okay. So it's probably much better with the pictures now, because we are nice guys apparently. So as I said, Luboš is more of an executive background. He was managing even some of the banks in Czech Republic, so has a network in this area. And myself, I've been for many years in consulting business, management consulting, and I'm still partly doing that together with Luboš. We are like strategic consultants to both large companies, but also to startups. But I'm also running like a business hub called Opero in Prague, which somehow is a networking hub mostly, but we also run several programs for entrepreneurs, including some program for startups. In terms of what we invest into, we have basically only one strict criteria, and this is only B2B. The reason for that is that our networks are mostly in this area, so we can help our portfolio companies both in terms of defining the right strategy and to connect them to potential clients and partners in when these are B2B oriented. Obviously, not all of the industries we know well, but this is our criteria. We like prefer, but if there is some deep know-how in the startup. So mostly we are looking at some deep tech things like around AI, data science, computer vision, and so on. And our usual ticket sizes are, let's say, starting to 200,000 K to, let's say, 1 million euros. But we also like consider smaller or larger. And we are also open to join A rounds, which we already did in one of our portfolio companies. Since we behave as an angel investor, we don't have much in terms of, we are not tight in terms of investment horizons and so on. We are dealing with our own money, so we are really ready to discuss what is the best for the company. I mean, everybody says smart money, but I already kind of said what does it mean in our case, and that's why we select the companies we are having, so B2B and some industries. What we usually do, actually, we did it in all 5 cases. We usually take on board other private investors who we think will help the particular company in some way. So to give you an idea, we have one startup in logistics, in fulfillment. So we have on board like a guy who was basically running like the largest logistics company in this country for 5 years. So this is an example how we try to really uplift the added value we have for the portfolio company. Otherwise, we are really sort of open to help with anything we can, but we are not meddling in any way into how the companies are running the business, and we really think this is their company for the start, and so we are not very strict in this sense. I said we had 5 companies, so just maybe one sentence to each of them. Wellbone, it's, I hope, shall be our start. This is the company we already had the A round last year, 2.5 million euros additional, and they are in cybersecurity and mostly selling to large national telco operators.
I'm sorry, Pavel. I'm sorry,
Yes.
but we don't have time for to
okay,
describe all of your portfolio. So if you have like last
Yeah.
sentence, so we can
Well,
have time for questions.
check it out. So maybe I will just say Veracity, computer vision and blockchain, data science, data sapiens in data science. Claron is the fulfillment I mentioned, and Centisquare is in AI, in NLP. So these are our companies at the moment. We are now considering 2 more. So let's see. This is my contact, and you can check the website, of course.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you very much. So first questions will be from Jan Dolezal, who you raise your hand.
Oh, that was probably from last time, but still.
Hi, Honzo.
Maybe one question I would like to ask is, how do you think about equity versus convertible loans in your investments? What do you prefer? Do you do both?
we have no preference actually, and we sort of discuss this, what is the most beneficial for the actual startup. So we have 2 equities, one, we even used once this SAFE certificate, if you know that. We have also with one more startup, we have a little bit of equity and option kind of thing connected to a loan. So it's very much very individual. We don't have any preferences in this sense. So because the structure needs to somehow tie to the actual situation of the startup in our sense.
Thanks.
Any other question?
I've got a question. It's a more kind of a personal question. Obviously, you know, you're a very tight-knit group. I think it's just the 3 of you, as you mentioned. What particularly got you excited to throw money at high-risk, early-stage businesses? And is that your passion, or do you have other reasons for going into that sector?
Well, I think it's a combination actually. I think to some extent it's a passion, because I'm somehow in the ecosystem of the local ecosystem for some time already. And second, I should admit that it's an investment. So we want to make money on it, to be honest. And that should be sort of a rational of every investor, basically. So we see it as one of the asset class we invest in. If this answers your question.
I think it was excellent. Thank you very much. Let's move on. Let me welcome the next investor from Tallinn, Helery Pops, co-founder of Honey Badger Capital. Hi, Helery.
Thank you for the intro. I bet you can all see my screen now.
Yes.
So despite having heard what is now about, I think, 500 pitches from founders all over the world, the first thing that I did when I started thinking about this event was Google how to pitch your startup in 3 minutes. And I learned that there are 8 things you should focus on. And the first one is a greeting. So hello, everyone from Estonia. My name is Helery, and it's a real pleasure to be here today. Next, a tagline to get you hooked on everything that I'm about to say today in this short period of time. So I'm looking for Honey Badger founders that want to make the world a better place along with me. Next, I wanted to introduce you to the team, as this is a big part of what Honey Badger Capital is. I am the person running the day-to-day business of Honey Badger. However, I'm supported by 3 quite knowledgeable partners. They were all founders of Pipedrive, and I like to think of them as a team of superheroes that each have their own superpower. We have Martin Tajur, who knows about technology and design. Henk will focus on product. Ragnar will try to understand the people and team dynamics. And my own background is with Pipedrive as well. Actually, I started in sales, moved on to research in the marketing team, and ended up as a product manager, both in Pipedrive and later in Ampler Bikes. And I think I've participated, mentored, and organized in every hackathon that has come my way as well. So in addition, Ragnar and Henk are both building their own startups. And I guess this is why we got together in the first place back in July, because we all wanted to invest, but doing it solo just was a bit too time consuming. So now I'm supposed to talk about the problem that we're solving. There's nothing really special, I think, about the problem that we're solving. There are founders out there who want to build awesome businesses, but unless you have already built another successful business before, then probability is that you will need money, and that's what we can help with. Then you will need knowledge. It's very important that the founders know more about what they're building than we do, but there are certainly things that we can help with that will save both money and time in the long run for the founder. And last but not least, you will need a network of people supporting you, a network of people to hire from, and a network of people to ask questions from. I think investors know quite a lot, but at the end of the day, the best ally you can have is another founder going through the same thing that you have, on your plate. And having altogether about 70 founders in our portfolios puts us in a really great position to make those right connections. So you ask what the solution is to this problem. The solution is us, Honey Badger Capital. We're bigger than an angel investor, much less strict and structured than a VC fund, though. While we, of course, are looking to make a profit, we're not looking for a quick exit, really. We're looking for long-term sustainable businesses that make a difference. We don't have an LP structure, meaning we don't need to abide by any strict rules. So when it comes to geography, we invest in all over the world. And when it comes to focus, we look towards sustainability, impact-driven companies, SaaS, and a little bit of Web3 as well. So no startup pitch deck is complete without some traction slides, right? And while our collective portfolio is about 70 founders strong today, right now I'm going to briefly talk about the companies that we invested into from under the setup of Honey Badger Capital. So we've been around since July and we have made 7 investments this far. And here you can see the split of where we have invested, both geography and focus-wise. And hoping you will do some more research later on. I just wanted to show you a couple of the companies that we've invested in and that I personally am super proud of, especially Mate Academy that is currently still running their business very successfully from Ukraine. So just makes my heart melt. And now to make sure that you remember the most important parts of what I have been talking about in the last almost 3 minutes. Here's a little bit of a summary. We are looking to invest 50 to 250,000 euros in a company from all over the world that wants to save the world with us. And so to start wrapping this up, the one thing that I really, really want you to do after this presentation is to watch a video of honey badgers. Okay, just joking. I want you to get in touch with me, of course, if you recognized yourself somewhere there in the story that I was telling you. Don't worry, I'm not as angry as this profile picture in LinkedIn is, but it's just an NFT that I bought that I'm also very proud of. So please reach out and ask about it. And well, one last point the article asked to make was to say a thank you. So thank you.
Thank you, Helery. Excellent. You have some nice comments in chat, so check it out. But first, founders, you can start asking.
Sure, I can ask. Helery, thank you so much. Really, really well done.
Thanks.
Best one I heard from investors so far. So you did, if I remember well, like 7 investments within 9 months, and continuing. Meaning that your portfolio grows and grows. Do you have any kind of tools in place to communicate effectively with a larger group of startups and to be able to always move fast enough for those startups and to make decisions as you are getting more and more startups in your portfolio?
Great question. I think community building is a big part of what I'm doing today. And I'm just figuring it out, actually. Since we have founders from all over the world, it's not that easy to just gather them together and have a couple of drinks and chat and see what synergies come up. So I just started with the most simplest Slack group to see what kind of synergies come up there. And while it's a bit quiet now, it does have its moments where founders are asking like, hey, what do you use for invoicing? Someone else would answer. And it's actually a very useful tool for myself as well, because every time I have an investment on the table that's, for example, in the sustainability business, I would always take the Slack to hit up all the companies that we have already and ask them about those investments. And regarding SaaS, for example, we have decided that since we can't invest into everything and I don't have time to have chats with all the founders in the world, then we have decided that the SaaS businesses that we invest in will be the ones that are beneficial for the founders that we already have in our portfolio. So that's a good place where to bet them as well.
Janosch, you can have another question.
Amazing. Thanks a lot for your presentation. Really appreciate it. And it was very comprehensive, which is great to hear from the investor side as well. My question is kind of given around your sustainability and equitable thesis. This is one for any female founders that are watching. Do you have a specific kind of thesis on ensuring that female founders are listened to, heard, and taken as in the same boat as male founders are, especially in Eastern Europe?
So I'm a female myself, so I think it's already a difference when I see a female sitting in front of me, because most of the people I talk to are men. So it's very refreshing to see more women, yay. I do actually ask the question if I am pitched to by a team where I see like 5 founders who are white men and 10 advisors who are white men, then usually my first question is, why are there no women? And I don't think it's like a men versus women issue per se. I think it's about diversity. It's already been proven that diverse teams perform better. So I would actually ask the same question if I saw 15 women on the slide. Where is your diversity? Because you need to have the balance in the team, right? I forgot the question, I think. What was the point?
If you have a specific thesis or investment criteria that involves ensuring that there's women at the table.
Yes, not yet. It is something that I have been thinking about, whether it should be like a cold and hard criteria that if you don't have a woman in your founding team, then it would automatically be a no. But I haven't reached that decision yet. Perhaps I should, but it still needs a little bit of thinking. But I've had the luck of investing into many companies that are female-led. And I think at least in Estonia, there are so many strong women, not only founders, but investors as well. So I'm hoping that this trend will go further in the world as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that.
Thanks.
Thank you. So the next presenter is from Estonia, Tim Vaino. Unfortunately, he got COVID and he's not able to pitch today. I hope he will get better soon. In case you would like to connect with him anyway, you can find his LinkedIn in the investors details sheet. This link is somewhere in chat. Maybe my colleague will add this link again right now. And we move on. Please welcome investor Berk Temuroglu, who is a founder of Angel District. Hi, Berk. Are you here?
Hello, Elishka.
Perfect. So you can start with your pitch.
All right, thank you so much. The thing is, I also do not have a deck. So for the participants, please regard this as a 3-minute fireside chat. I hope this would be okay with you. That being said, Angel District is an angel network that runs or actually operates via syndications only. And as the founder of Angel District, I am actually an operator slash founder turned angel investor myself. I have founded 2 startups between 2009 and 2012, which did not scale. They were both e-commerce companies. One of them on pet food supplies, the other one on small household appliances. And after those 2 experiences, I have decided to switch sides and work actively as a business angel. And that's where Business District actually come into existence. And while talking about myself, when I say a business angel, I mean, of course, mostly in the form of a syndicate leader. I personally invest directly into startups, that's for sure. But I also enable other business angels to tag along to my investments via these syndications through the Angel District network. And the thing is, I really do enjoy this a lot because of the network effects, basically. The accumulated or aggregated know-how and experience via syndications, I believe, really do fill the gap in terms of the whole investment chain very perfectly. And I am originally Turkish, born and raised from Istanbul, but I've been living in Czech Republic for many years in Prague. That's why most of the syndications that I have initiated had been, between these two geographies. So you may think of me and Angel District as a bridge between East and West, Central and Eastern Europe towards Turkey, and then even, more eastward, Azerbaijan, Georgia, and even extending to Middle East in certain cases. We are mostly active in B2C and sometimes in B2B2C as well. And me and my network, we provide support, especially in go-to-market for B2C companies in terms of strategy and marketing as well, attached to it. And the checks that we have been fortunate enough to write so far had ranged between 50K to 200K. And obviously the startups that we have been working so far have always been either pre-seed or seed stage companies. What we look for a startup is very straightforward. Deep expertise in the domain in terms of the founders, of course. And if possible, this would be a nice to have, a few proof of concepts, attached to this, deep expertise in the domain that they are operating in. And as Angel District, we also practice what we preach, and we offer our deep expertise in customer or consumer-facing solutions in B2C and B2B2C. And well, you may reach me via LinkedIn. If you type in my name, I'm sure you're going to be able to get a hold of me. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Berk. Founders, do you have any questions?
Of course. Berk, asking just for a friend, of course.
Sure. I know that friend, I guess.
What would be your perfect investment horizon for your investments? And what kind of multiples do you expect?
Well, so far, looking at the past track records, and nothing really materialized before 4 to 5 years, I would say. Nothing before 4 to 5. And in terms of multiples, well, the highest we have seen was, if I'm not mistaken, 38x. And as low as, 6, I would say, 6x. So I think if I'm not mistaken, these would be the correct numbers, but maybe a little bit higher and a little bit lower, actually.
Cool. Thank you. I will tell my friend.
Yes, please do so. Hope to see you again soon.
Jan Dolezal, go ahead.
Hi, Berk. As you invited us to check out your LinkedIn profile, I found very interesting things. Not only that you studied at Lehigh University, we just had some interns from Lehigh.
Really?
SMARTGUIDE, yes, they were awesome. But also that you are still actively working for DEPO. At the same time, you are actively working for Philip Morris, and you are an angel investor. So I thought I had a couple of hats already, but how do you manage?
Absolutely. Well, like I said, I have been a founder back in the days, and I started these companies while working professionally. So I disclosed them, again, many years ago. This is the first one was 2009. And these were basically side hustles, even before side hustles were a thing, let's call it this way. And since then, every company that I have been working for has been okay with this, meaning to spend a few hours, every day, every week, every month, maybe sometimes a little bit more than the previous week, together with the startups, because I always tell them very openly that this also keeps me very up to date in terms of what I am doing professionally. So I think, both parties win big time. The companies that I work for, professionally, and also the startups, because they also gain a lot from this corporate culture and, you know, corporate insights and perspective that I provide to the founders. But
Perfect.
just for your information, I am not working for those two aforementioned companies at the same time. Maybe, you know, LinkedIn, you know, there's a problem there. Just FYI.
You would be a superhero.
Thank you. All right, then. I'm signing out. Thank you, Elishka.
Thank you. Another investor is Vojta Rocek from Czech Republic, who is a partner at Presto Ventures. Hi, Vojta.
Hello, hello. I have one slide to show. I'm an angel investor and also part of Presto Ventures Collective. My background is in a startup called Stories BI, which focused on automatization of data analytics. We actually made an engine which could completely automate management decision-making in big companies, which was really hard to sell because no sane management will buy something which will replace it. I managed to sell this startup to a company called Workday, which is second biggest SaaS in the world. It was an interesting ride, and I'm using the knowledge I gathered during this when talking with startups about their exits every week. And one of the things I'm most passionate about these days is sales, because sales is hard, especially B2B sales. It took me a while to crack it. It took me a while to crack my emotions. And it's another thing I love to talk about with founders, how to manage to get through the pain of selling stuff every day and being rejected. Today, I'm part of Presto Ventures, where I'm one of the partners. So there we are focusing on B2B, CEE, later stages. I'm mentoring since 2015, and I have like 5 current investments. You can find more of them about them on my page if you want to. I love to work with B2B startups. I put those 2 pictures here so you will remember me as an easygoing, laid-back guy. So if you are looking for someone who will be with you on the journey and will help you with everything you are dealing with, yeah, just give me a call through LinkedIn.
Amazing. Thank you, Vojta. Any questions? Janosch or Jan?
I saw Tony take himself off.
You
hanging.
saw
But
him.
I just asked so many questions. You guys go.
My question to you is, obviously you've got a number of investments in the past 2 years. Would you take a board position if asked as an angel? Namely because, you know, one of my first questions in this forum was around the support that an angel investor can give to a business, and having an angel who has been there, done that, made the mistakes and found a lot of the solutions is a really, really valuable thing for a founder. And just for example, I have very few exited founder angel investors on my cap table. I would love to have had a cap table full of them. How kind of deep do you go into your mentoring, and then do you go as far as a board seat?
My mission is to help as many people as possible to build good startups and pay out their employees so they can start their own startups. So if you want some advices, just don't hesitate, write me on LinkedIn. I will be happy to share everything I learned. If you want me on the board, we can talk about it too, but I'm trying to be on boards only with companies where I'm invested. Yeah, of course.
Perfect. Great, thank you.
Tony, go ahead.
Sure. I think you kind of already answered my question actually in the last answer. If I understood you well, you invest most of the money from yourself, your own money. What motivates you to invest in startups and not just in stock market or something? You know, after you did your work to kind of like relax a little bit for once.
I tried that, but I don't like. My wife keeps asking me if I am happy, but I'm not motivated by happiness. I'm motivated by meaning, and I see a lot of meaning in helping others doing interesting stuff. And it's a little bit selfish too, because I want to talk to smart people, and usually people who are running startups are very smart. So the only kind of people I like to talk to.
Great answer. Thank you very much. Let's move on. Michal Ciffra, a partner at DEPO Ventures, is our next investor. Hi, Michal. Are you ready?
Hi, Eliška. I'm ready. Just let me share my screen. Yeah. Can you see my presentation? It's only white wallpaper.
Yes.
Nice. So I can start. As an investor, I love questions. So I will give you some of them. Are you a rockstar founder? Do you have a revolutionary idea disrupting the global market and you have already your MVP done? Do you need money and quality partner? What if you get up to 500K in total investment from fund and angel syndicate? And on top of that, you would get founders, investor with founders first approach. What does it mean? This investor will provide you with the visibility to the follow-on investors, contacts to your potential business partners, startup toolkit full of best practices, how to build a successful startup, great advisory, and also amazing perks in a value of 500K from companies like HubSpot, Notion, or Microsoft. All these things you get if you are invested by DEPO Ventures. Founders first investor, powered by business angels. I'm Michal, partner and co-founder of DEPO Ventures. DEPO Ventures is angel fund with the founders first approach. What does it mean? Our limited partners are consisting of C-level executives, business professionals, and also successful entrepreneurs who already sold their businesses. We are investing tickets up to 250K. And DEPO Ventures is also the biggest CE angel syndicate, where we are investing up to 300K. Our focus, we are investing in future of work, finance, leisure, education, and mobility. We have already invested in 20 great founders, 20 great portfolio companies. And what we are looking for are CEE founders in a pre-seed and seed stages and global ambitions. After investment, we cover your bag. You can read it in the testimonials from our founders, or you can ask them directly. Do you like it? If yes, you can just scan this QR code and apply to our deal flow and join our family. Thanks.
Thank you, Michal. Time for questions.
Thank you so much, Michal. You guys invested in us in August last year, and I can prove that everything you said is right.
Nice, thank you. It's kind from you.
No, it's the truth. My question for you, Michal. Are you looking more for zebras or for unicorns?
Good questions. We are looking for great founders. That's all.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, since Michal invested also in our company, I feel here the participants might feel that it's a little bit unfair that we are giving him, easy questions. So if I may suggest a rebellion that you would let the other participants of this call who did not have a chance to ask investors a question to ask Michal.
Of course.
Let's see if everyone from attendees would like to ask question. You can just raise your hand and I can allow you to speak. Okay, we have one. Okay, so Sandra, I'm sending you here on stage. Hi. Hi, Sander. Okay, so let's try the other ones. Kos, Fantes. Kos, Fantes, you are on stage. You can speak. Say hi.
Hi, Kos.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Fantastic. First of all, thank you everyone for giving of your time on this amazing Thursday afternoon. It's a pleasure to hear your different perspectives and your history and all the kind of background and knowledge that you've gained over the years. My personal background is in healthcare. I'm a medical doctor. And at the moment, I've developed a company called Encode Health, and what we do is track and trace medical devices into a patient's healthcare records, and we update clinics and hospital inventory at the same time. And we're going through an investment round right now. And I just wanted to hear from your perspective in this industry, given that it's a little bit of a rocky healthcare time, and that supply chain management is a little bit difficult as well. What would be your kind of reservations about investing in healthcare at the moment, or supply chain management at the moment?
Is it a question to me or all investors who are on the call?
In general, to any person who is on the panel that may have invested in healthcare or logistics or supply chain management.
Oh, okay. So based on my opinion, healthcare and in general health is the industry of the future. So we like it. It's depending on the business model if you are doing hardware or software, because we are investing in only in software-based companies only. But in general, yeah, we would be interested in healthcare startups. So if you want, you can just send me the email with the deck and we can talk later.
Thanks, I'll do that.
I have another question from Jan Lagast.
Yes, hello. Thank you very much. This is a wonderful afternoon. I think this is one of the most effective ways to get in touch with a lot of investors. So wonderful initiative. I would love to have all our people attend to the next ones too. So please keep us informed. I'm Jan Lagast. I'm from Impact Builders. We have a startup studio in Brussels West and Tallinn City, so between Belgium and Estonia, and now raising 3 of our startups. And my question actually is, when we were listening to everybody, I reached out to everybody here on LinkedIn, and I have 2 questions about timing. One is, how fast are you going to respond on my email on LinkedIn? And the second one is actually, how fast is the time between the first contact and the moment that the funds are available?
Honestly, if I can start, and then I pass the word to others. I don't like LinkedIn messages. Yeah, that's horrible user experience to deal with hundreds of messages per day. So if I think the most effective way how to reach us is through the email. But actually, what I would advise you is to somehow, because what we like is the intro from the person who is credible for us. So the most of the deal which are invested from our side, we have in general from our network. So the most efficient way is to somehow reach someone who is in our network and be recommended by him.
Thank you guys for all those questions. We have to move on. I just want to mention that our last investor is supposed to be here, Paulina Shijek from Lumos Collective. However, she won't be able to pitch today either. She said hi though, and said that you could approach her on LinkedIn. So again, go to this investor guide when you find the Excel sheet, when you find those LinkedIns, or just write down her email, Paulina Shijek, email LinkedIn. Now it's time to answer the question, which investor do you like the best? So I would like to launch public vote and give you some time. Meanwhile, do not worry, it's anonymous, you know. I give you some time, and meanwhile, I would like to thank all the investors who had the courage to pitch today. It's not easy, right? And I have a question for you. How was it to be on the other side? For example, who would like to start?
I can start, if that's okay. I just, when I first started preparing for this, I wrote down a bunch of stuff, and the first time I started running through it, I saw it was about 10 minutes long. So I found this quote online as well, that if you want me to do like a 1-hour presentation, I'm ready now. But if you want me to do a 3-minute presentation, I need a week of preparation. So I think that's very true. The shorter you have to be, the more you have to practice. So many things that I would have loved to talk about, but 3 minutes is just a very limited time, and you have to be very concise. So it was a cool exercise to do.
Great, amazing. What about Vojta, Rocek? How was it for you to be in this founder's shoes?
I love it. I love it when I have to think about what would resonate and what would other side would like to hear. So it's a good exercise, I think.
Yeah. And Berk, are you still with us? You didn't have time, unfortunately, to prepare. So how was it? Like your daily routine, or?
Definitely not, but I'm looking forward to do this more. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you for to be here. And I would also like to ask founders, how was it to be on the other side, to ask questions?
Yeah, if you like, I can start. It's actually cool to do it the other way around. Usually, usually it's the other way around. You know, you talk with hundreds of investors, and then 10% reply, and of those 10%, maybe 10% then invest in you. So this is the other way around. It's nice, definitely, and it's cool to be able to ask some questions the other way around. And yeah, sure, would like to do it more often.
I'd say the same as what Tony said. What's interesting, maybe for us three founders on this call, is we've maybe been in the pitching game for longer than some of these investors have. And it's really exciting to see kind of the other side of the table, but also ask questions for us specifically. And I hope the people viewing on this call also got some value out of it, but for us to ask questions which maybe we wouldn't specifically ask in the first call, or maybe like 4 years ago when I was a bright-eyed, bushy-tailed entrepreneur. I was a bit nervous to ask, how come you don't spend enough time with your startups, and what can you do to change that? So it was a really good opportunity for that as well, and hopefully it provided some additional light to the entrepreneurs on this call, that maybe you should be a bit more bullish and a bit more upfront about what you need as an entrepreneur from specifically angels, because they're the ones that can provide you with a lot of value, and also the smaller scale VCs that are very, very hands-on and very excited to work deeply with their portfolio. So it's definitely a two-way relationship. Never forget that. And the better match, the better the startup will do as well.
Exactly. Dolezal, how was it? Did you enjoy it?
I very much enjoyed it also from the other side, but as now Janosch mentioned, getting an investment from an investor is really a two-way relationship. It's like a marriage, and I view it as a balanced relationship. But when startup is pitching to investors, it's very often too much skewed towards the startup and the founder pitching. And of course, yes, you try to find out who the investor is. So I really like that we swapped the balance this time, and we had a little bit more time to actually learn about the investors. So this is, we are all trying to innovate, and this is actually the first time I've seen this reverse pitch. So kudos for bringing in this innovation.
Great, thank you. Seems like the most popular investor is Helery. Congratulations. You won nothing, but it's nice feedback, right? Maybe your preparation, yeah, it was worth it. Definitely. Your page was great. Would you like to add something at the end?
I would, yeah, perhaps to all the startuppers and the investors in this call as well. I think the investor and founder relationship should be equal, and I think there are really no explanations if investors don't reply your emails, for example. So I make a point to myself, for example, to reply all emails, even if I see that it isn't a good match for me. And I think investors should hold themselves up to the same standards as well. If a founder is taking time from their schedule to pitch something and write to you, then I think we owe the same to the founders as well. So founders, I think you should also stick with the investors that show interest in you as well, not only when you're doing well.
Absolutely. Does anyone want to say something in the end from investors or founders on stage?
I would just say from my side, the last 2 months have been particularly challenging for investment. A lot of angel investors have been relatively spooked, especially in Eastern Europe. If you're struggling to find investment, do look abroad. There's a lot of investors that also are excited about Eastern European technology companies. And I know there's people from all over the world here, but there's a lot of places like in the US and in the UK and elsewhere that aren't quite as hesitant right now to put checks into businesses. On the valuation side of things. A lot of VCs will say that valuations are dropping. With that in mind, they usually say it's due to the public market challenges at the moment. However, for a seed stage startup, the public market shouldn't be a benchmark, considering that probably the earliest stage you can IPO is in 4 years, and the markets will be different. So definitely have, hold your cards close to your chest, still be bullish, still be very proud of the startup that you've been running, and just search out for more investors and reach out to these investors to introduce you to other ones. And if you're looking for that capital, just keep going, because it's this little hump in the road over the past 2 months will pass very soon.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else?
Maybe to jump into there, I really have to agree with what Janosch just said. It's looking like there's a financial crisis on the horizon, and many investors are getting a little bit spooked at the moment. So startups should take that into account and plan even better than they did before, for a longer runway, and if possible, lower burn, with still succeeding as planned, of course. But yeah, like prepare for a tough time. Even though COVID might be over soon, we don't know. It's going to be challenging.
Great. If nobody wants to say anything else, ladies and gentlemen, that would be all. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope you find it what you were looking for. If not, I'm sorry, maybe next time. It was a pleasure to moderate this event. Have a good rest of the day or night or whatever, whenever you are. Bye.